Hello everyone, welcome to Spark Study. In the last video we started with the second order system or the time response of second order systems. We have reached with the general equations of second order transfer function, that is nothing but s omega n square divided by s square plus 2 zeta omega n s plus omega n square. And we comes across two different new terms, that is omega n, which is nothing but the natural frequency of oscillation, and one more thing, that is zeta. Zeta is nothing but the damping ratio or damping fraction or damping factor. Okay, so most of the books follows damping ratio. You also follow damping ratio. Clear? And in this system, study about the stability analysis of second order system with respect to different value of zeta, because I told you C of t or the output, the response depend not only of a single variable but also depend upon two variables, that is omega n and also zeta. So what will be the stability of the systems? Okay, stability depends upon zeta value also. Okay, how the stability of the systems changes with different value of zeta, that will go to summarize here. Okay. So the general form of the second order equation is nothing but omega n square divided by a square plus 2 zeta omega n s plus omega n square. So this is a general form of the second order systems. I told you stability analysis will depend upon the location of pole in the S plane. So this is j omega axis, this is my real axis. Okay, and if my systems of poles, if my poles are lying the right half of the S plane, the system is unstable. But if the systems or if the poles are locating at over the j omega axis or left half of the S plane, then the system is stable. Okay, but the condition is if the poles are locating left to the j omega axis, the system is completely stable, and if the poles is over the j omega axis, let's say over here, then it is called marginally stable. So we have some oscillation, but the oscillation is bounded in between two variables. That is why the system is not going out of this boundary. This is called system is not exactly stable, but is stable between two limits. Okay, that is why. So we will consider up to j omega axis and left half the S plane, and we do not bother about the unstable system. So as my poles found out the stability, then poles comes from the denominator of the equation or algebraic equations, and if you make the denominator to 0 and find the value of S, that is called poles. Clear? Yes. So here we can see, if I make this into 0, that is nothing but S square plus 2 zeta omega n s plus omega n is equal to 0. Once I make this complete to 0, you can see one thing, this thing becomes only, we can find S value equating to 0, can find S value in terms of these two functions. That means after equating this equation to 0, the poles depend upon both 2 zeta omega n s and also omega n s. And we know that as it is a second order system, we have two numbers of poles. Okay, so let me change the page. So equation is S square plus 2 zeta omega n s plus omega n square. Okay, so if I equate these to 0 and I want to find S value, S is equal to under root minus of 2 zeta omega n s plus omega n square. Simple mathematics, not a rocket science. Okay, but can you see one thing here? Omega n is available here, omega n is available here also. You take this s outside or do some mathematical operation. Do not bother about the s. Do not bother about the s here. So here 2 zeta omega n in the left side and omega n also in the left side. Okay, let's say. Okay, so this thing. So whenever you can see, if I make, because zeta is not available here, only omega n is available. I told you the analysis of stability will depend upon zeta value. So let's say zeta is equal to 0. If I make zeta is equal to 0, this total term vanishes. Yes, once this total term vanishes, we will reach with only this term with a negative sign. So s becomes minus of omega n square under root. Clear? And this can be reduced into j omega n. So we have s is equal to j omega n, or we can write plus minus j omega n. So I have two poles. One is s1 at j omega n and s2 at minus j omega n. So pair of complex pole. Okay. So in this situation, I know that when zeta is equal to 0, my poles are imaginary poles. So if you draw, okay, if you draw this thing, it will comes like this. This is my j omega, this is my j omega axis. This is nothing but the s plane, and the poles are, okay, the poles are, one pole is here and is j omega, and this is minus j omega. Okay, so if you see, if you make your zeta to 0, you will see both the poles are lying over the imaginary axis. That means whenever your poles are lying over the imaginary axis, if you see these two are boundary, then you can make a, you can make a line. So your system will be oscillate in between these two lines. So it will be oscillating in between these two. Okay, so you can clearly say that when time tends to infinite, the oscillation will be in this, like in this format. There should not be any constant value. That means when time tends to infinite, the oscillation remain as it is, but oscillation will not go beyond this line and also not go beyond this line. So as the oscillation in between two boundary, so in between these two, these two lines, or in between the margin of these two lines, so this kind of system is called marginally stable systems. Okay, marginally stable systems. Clear? So when your zeta becomes 0, the system response would be look somewhat like this, and the system is marginally stable. Okay, this is not exactly stable and not also exactly unstable, but it vibrates or oscillate in between two margin. That is why it's called marginally stable systems. Okay. Then again, if I go for the same equation, s square plus 2 zeta omega ns plus omega n square, here let me make zeta which is less than 0 or negative. That means we can find a square equal to 0. We will find a square is equal to negative of 2 zeta omega n s plus omega n square. So this thing, and whenever you put these two negative, so ultimately these whole things becomes positive, and when this whole things becomes positive, your S1 and S2 becomes positive. So when these two are positive, the poles will lie at the right half of the S-plane, and I told you when the poles lies at the right half of the S-plane, the system is unstable. Clear? Okay. Similarly, this is for zeta less than 0. Similarly, if you change zeta value, let's say zeta is equal to s square plus 2 zeta omega n s plus omega n square. Let's say the zeta value is equal to, zeta is greater than 0. So we have seen zeta is equal to 0, zeta less than 0. Similarly, we can see zeta greater than 0. Okay? So if zeta is greater than 0, we can see this is greater than 0. So s square becomes, s becomes under root negative of 2 zeta omega n s plus omega n square. So if you make your zeta greater than 0, this is greater than 0. So s terms s1 and s2 both will be negative. So if both the poles are negative, that means both the poles located in the left half of the S-plane, then the system is stable system. Okay? So zeta greater than 0 does not mean that only greater than 0. Zeta can be 1, zeta can be 2, zeta can be 3, zeta can be infinite, any value positive integer. Okay? But we study about zeta greater than 0 and study about zeta is equal to 1 also. Let me check what will happen when zeta becomes 1. Okay? So you have studied the stability analysis. Here you can summarize this thing in a particular slide, that whenever this is my S-plane, this is my real axis, this is imaginary axis. So whenever zeta is less than 0, the poles are in the right, system is unstable. When zeta is equal to 0, zeta is equal to 0, poles are over imaginary axis, system marginally stable. When zeta is greater than equal to 0 or greater than 0, system is, the poles are the negative of the S-plane, then system is stable. So this is the summary. So in this video we will study about different locations of zeta and how this zeta actually affect the stability of the systems. Okay? So it is very clear that the response of the system depends on zeta or damping ratio. It is very important. Clear? So we can see this zeta is the damping ratio and different value of zeta, what is the location of the poles and these things. And if you try to make it out, the diagram is unstable system. When zeta becomes 0, systems becomes like this. Okay, unstable. When you make your zeta is equal to 0, it will be lies in between these two. When you make your zeta to this value, so systems oscillate and go down to 0. So you can see whenever zeta is equal to 0, the systems oscillate with a constant frequency between two boundaries. Then that frequency of oscillation is called omega n, and this omega n is called natural frequency of oscillation. Okay, but you can see when zeta is equal to zeta is greater than 0, the system oscillates and then frequency changes. You can see this length changes. After some time the frequency die out or oscillation die out. This time the frequency is called omega d or damping frequency or damped frequency. Damping frequency. So this thing, thank you very much. This is all about the stability analysis with respect to zeta value. Go through it, and if you are in doubt, you can ask me in the comment section. Please don't forget to like and subscribe if you like this video. Unless do not do this thing. Thank you so much.